I'm Joe McInerney. We'll call the June 20th, 2017 Airport Authority meeting to order. The first order of business is the approval of the May 13th minutes for our regular meeting. Do I see a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Show the minutes passed as presented. The next thing is really just an update. Cedar Creek is all but finished, or is finished, and it's being used. We've got a certificate of occupancy, and there were several things that we had to do to bring that into the asset classifications for the airport, and those were all completed last week. And Josh, you have, I think you sent me earlier this afternoon those signed agreements, didn't you?
I did, yeah. You probably didn't have a chance to pull that up before the meeting, but we got the signed certificate from Mid-Bay Air that certifies the cost of their improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that was required by the lease, and it's a certification that will allow the authority to depreciate the asset over its lifetime. And if it ever comes to pass that the authority would have to buy that asset, we now have the basis from which to start that depreciation schedule. So that part has been taken care of. And to my knowledge, that was the last step in the process for Mid-Bay Air to complete the requirements under the lease.
I think that was. So we appreciate that, and we're glad to have that new asset as part of the airport. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the update of the East Side construction project, and I'll do that. Phase 3 is 85% complete, probably 88% complete today. This was as of last Tuesday. All we're left doing, all the grading's been done, all the work, all the cut and fill has been done. There have been a special mix of asphalt that they'll pave it with 2 inches of asphalt if they get a weather break. The weather is supposed to be done by July 1st. It'll probably be more like July 15th when the actual contract is finished, but I think that's fine. But we've had a good experience. Again, we'll be through by July, I think, true by July 15th. That segues into the second part B. The Phase 4 project was advertised for bid on June 12th. I think you've got a copy of that advertisement, don't you, Josh?
Yes, you did send me a copy of the advertisement, and the opening is on July the 7th.
The opening is on July 7th, but if anybody's interested, there's a pre-construction meeting on June 28th at the airport. And that's really when the contractors get together and kind of talk through the scope, and not talk through the scope, but ask questions. At 2 o'clock on June 28th, I'll send all of y'all a reminder of that if anybody wants to participate. But that's really the kind of where all the decisions are made, and everybody talks through any issues they'd have, and a lot of good work is done there. But the bids will be opened in this room on Friday, July 7th at 2 o'clock. So we hope we'll have, that'll be Phase 4. At that point in time, we'll take those bids, we'll submit them to the FAA, and basically, they'll basically, agree to approve, or we hope they'll just approve what's there, and we'll move forward with Phase 4. We'll probably come in August or so to actually get final bid documents or final contract documents and go forward at that point in time. Any questions about that?
What's the Cliff Notes version of Phase 4?
Phase 4 is at the end of Phase 3, we'll have 2 inches of asphalt on about 11 acres of runways and aprons. Not runways, taxiways and aprons. At the end of Phase 4, we'll have 9 inches of asphalt. We'll put 7 inches of asphalt and cut the connectors to the actual runways itself. All the road into the new area will be complete, and we'll basically be ready to, and we'll have all the utilities to serve the east side done too, utilities and drainage. So we'll be site ready to basically put any general aviation terminal and any up to 5 new hangars in that location. Okay.
Great, thanks.
Pam, you went to the construction meeting the other day. You got any comments?
No, they look like they had it well in hand.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4 is developing the west side of the airport. I keep this on here just so that we'll all remember how important developing the west side is. I've had a couple of conversations with, I've had a couple of conversations with people that are interested in a portion of the west side. I mean, to buy basically a lot that's contiguous to their property. And I will continue that dialogue. I've also had a conversation with a real estate person who wants to list that. I'll be honest with you, we really need to sit down and say, what are we going to do with the west side? Do we want to sell it to a real estate person, or list it with a real estate person, or do we want to try to continue to develop it ourselves? Hopefully maybe, I think maybe out of the Paris Air Show, something good, something positive will happen. So I don't know.
Well, following up on that, I recently attended up at Five Rivers, the Coastal Alabama Partnerships seminars on the economic opportunities here in Lower Alabama, and there was one particularly focused on transportation. And so out of that, we've gotten the assessment and summary, and I plan to meet with Sherry Leah and Casey Williams so that we were going to talk about putting together a plan.
Well, we've got some of the engineering drawings done, and maybe we could develop our own marketing brochure and work with Lee Lawson and Sherry Lee to move it forward.
We have one marketing brochure that can reprint, but we'd like to get another one done in time for the NAFA Conference.
Okay. Any other, Chip, got any thoughts? I mean, the west side's out of struggle, but certainly it's not something that's moving as quickly as we'd like. All right, number 5.
Input from the Industrial Development Board on that? Is there any dialogue?
I hear, I guess, 2 months ago, I met with, and I meet with Lee Lawson probably once every, 45 to 60 days. And, he has, somebody that's interested who's kicking tires. He has some inquiries, but nobody's we really haven't had a real solid prospect that we took them and showed them the site since about last year this time. I mean, somebody that's really, a lot of competition out there,
Yeah, I understood, but the Fairhope Industrial Development Board, I was just wondering if they're, I think maybe needs to be some liaison communication with
We've
them.
had some, and there needs to be more synergy, I agree, and it was on my list to get a meeting with Bob General again.
It
We
meets
did appear at
Thursday.
one of their meetings.
Sherry Lee?
So Jack is also on that board?
Yes.
So he's a liaison, and I've also been attending the Industrial Development Board meetings. So we can talk about their next meeting, I think it's next week.
I thought it was Thursday.
Is it Thursday? I don't know.
But I mean, I was going
It's a
to,
big meeting, but yes, it's coming up.
I mean, I think we ought to be more involved, and we ought to, I mean, I know Jack's on the board, and we'll try to go and keep them as apprised as we can.
Are you going tomorrow as well, or Thursday rather?
I'm going to try to. It's at 4:30. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday.
So if you
Okay.
want to touch base before
Yeah.
doing that.
But I don't have, I would like for them to be more involved. I mean, what I'm saying, I think that would be a great thing.
And I think just a conversation about our decision to list or not list, or how we might promote it, is kind of a 3-party communication with Lee Lawson, with the Industrial Development Board, and then the Airport Authority deciding, where does that lead us? And is that going to give us the right tools? And it might be that we list parts of it, but not all of it, where we have a.
But what we don't want to do, I mean, there's some of it that has relatively good access. I mean, you don't want somebody to cherry pick that. I mean, that, you love me, love my dog. I mean, you really want to sell the whole, or get as much development as you can for our, But I hope, we're going to redouble our efforts over the summer. I mean, now that Phase 4 is going to fruition, we're going to redouble our efforts to do something with the west side. Okay? Pam, do you want to talk about the military?
Yeah, as you're aware, at our last month's meeting, we had some members of the public here asking us to write a letter to Senator Shelby in discussing the frustrations of the citizens here with the aircraft noise since the military has switched to a T6 from a T3. So I took a first draft. I circulated that to all of you today. I welcome any of your suggestions or edits. Will's already given his. Joe's requested that I run it by Dr. Egerton, which I'll do, and then hopefully we'll have a final letter that everyone is comfortable with, asking for his assistance in kind of bringing all parties to the table to discuss all viable options.
Any questions? I read the letter. I mean, there's a lot of, it's got a lot of meat and it's got a lot of meat and potatoes in it, and I mean, it's a long letter, but it certainly gets to what we want to do. It's just it's a complicated matter. And, it's complicated, but I mean, that's what we need. We need to go on record, and I think the board will be supportive of us saying that we would like to see if we can work through some opportunity to reduce the noise in the MOA. Does the board, is that the board's wish?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have to continue to recognize our jurisdictional
Yeah.
authority that we have as a board.
It's stated in there. We realize what we have and
What
don't
we
have.
can and can't do. Okay.
Has the FAQ been put on the website? I haven't-
FAQ is on the website.
Okay, okay.
It went up just a day or two after last month's meeting.
Great.
And in fact, we've had some additions to it already.
All right, good, good.
Okay, any other comments? Pam, you want to move on to number 6?
Okay, as you know, September 9th through 13th, 2017, Fairhope is hosting the National Association of State Aviation Officials, and the conference will be at the Grand Hotel. So we have a conference committee going, and we've been working collaboratively off of base camp with everybody's assignments, and we're progressing along. Joe has obtained some sponsorships.
Seegers is going to sponsor, as is UTC Aero, and I would like for us to be a $500 sponsorship. That we, with that we can, I think we all should try to go to it's a great educational, the education part of the conference is very good, and the trade show that's part of it is probably one of the best I've ever been to. So I would encourage all of you to block out some time to try to go to that. And I would like to, be a 500. I think that's a bronze sponsorship. Be a bronze sponsorship, the airport authority to be a bronze sponsorship if that's what we want to do.
So I'll make a motion that the airport authority spend $500 and be a bronze sponsor of the NASAO conference.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of being a bronze sponsorship, or a $500 bronze sponsorship?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank y'all. Well, again, we'll have 350 to 400 people, some of the top aviation officials in the United States. Great trade show, and I would encourage all of y'all to go. It's just a great thing.
Why we need an updated marketing brochure for our west side. So we still have the items we used from last year, the tent and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
We did update we updated it last year, and it's in pretty good shape, and we can just print additional copies, can't we?
right. And the city, the chamber, and the airport authority is looking at design of a pole banner to welcome the conference into town. So we haven't quite got that completed yet.
Okay. All right, number 7, this is a new item. We've got a lot of maintenance type of activities that we have going on at the airport. And right now, we only see them when they're completed, and Ray reports them as the expense. What I'd like to do is be proactive and kind of tell y'all what they are, and then just so we're all on the same page, so you'll see them as expense. I usually try to bring them up, but this will give us a more proactive way to track them. So, I guess the biggest one that everybody I hear is repairing asphalt on the south apron area. We've had some cracking, with almost a hole. We've gotten an estimate proposal. Broker did an engineering study, not an engineering study, but they basically have about a $4,700 correction. They'll take out 20 feet, 20 feet by 20 foot square, dig it up, put gravel under it, and basically asphalt it. John Walton will do the construction, that's who's doing our, and then we're getting, they're having already mobilized, we're gonna get, there'll be some price discounts there. So we plan to go, that kind of has to be done. So we need to do that. We just finished the AWAS annual maintenance. I think that was done about a month and a half ago. It checked out okay. We had a phone line that wasn't working at the time. We've had since that we got the phone line back, so everything's working with the AWAS. Moving sand and grits from the west side apron. I know we've had several complaints about that. Joe, can you give us an update on that?
Yes, sir. I've got a street sweeper lined up. So as soon as the rain stops, we've had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
But as soon as that stops, we can get in there and clean it all off. I've got that lined up, ready to go.
Okay. Well, yeah, we would appreciate that. And then I talked with Alan, and we're going to divert that water from where they've still got some construction over there, but most of that water goes west, and we don't feel like that actually goes onto the.
Flowing toward the southwest.
Yeah. So.
I talked with Bobby Odom at Ballpark.
Yeah.
Where that drainage problem.
Yeah.
But we've got that lined up.
Okay.
Is this something we ought to think about having done on a regular basis?
I think so. I mean, I think this is one of these things that next year when we do a budget, we probably should, I think this is about $500 for the machine plus your time.
Right. When you have aircraft movement, it's going to, that surface is going to, some of the substrate is going to rise, it's going to break off the little rocks and all, and occasionally we need to sweep that.
And as an airplane owner, I mean, it destroys your airplane over time, doesn't it?
Especially airplanes that props are low to the ground, it's
Yeah.
just abrasive.
Of all the things that, I mean, I've gotten 4 to 5 calls from people who are truly, I mean, not angry about it, but they really have encouraged us to do something about it. So,
What's the timeframe for having these items done?
As soon as the storm passes, I'm going to have the street sweeper out there.
Okay.
and I'm with Chip. I mean, I think we ought to try to do it every 6 months or so. Chip, what do you think?
At least, I mean, I will see, after it's done this time, see how soon it gets back up. It's actually mostly on the taxiways where the new hangars were built, and then they didn't seal the asphalt. Whereas on the main ramp, it's just what's washed down there. It's not coming up through the
It's just
asphalt.
old asphalt, is what, yeah.
But I think we ought to monitor it and see when it starts to get bad again.
And what has happened of the last 3 years, we've been so committed to doing the east side that some of the normal maintenance things, like having those aprons and taxiways sealed regularly, I mean, we just hadn't done it because we haven't had our discretionary money's been going to build the east side. So when we get to a more normal cycle, we get $150,000 a year from the FAA to do stuff like that. So, I mean, we can be sealing, doing things like that going forward on a more proactive basis. Okay? Reskinning the CMS North Hangar, that's kind of in my bailiwick. Part of the original the agreement with Continental to basically renew their lease and do some of the things they did was that we were going to reskin both the North Hangar, both the east and west side. We reskinned the west side 2 years ago. They had a construction project planned for the east side but they're going to put a lean-to on it, and they never actually followed through with it. So I've had conversations with Bill, and we're basically, I called Kimco last week. They're going to get me an estimate Friday, and we'll move forward with that. It was about $36,000 before. I mean, that's a big number, but we've committed to do that. And those are 40-year-old hangars too. I mean, you have to do stuff like that on them anyway. And additional tie downs. I think Joe, you had a.
Yes, sir. Met with Volcar. There is no more room because of the distances, the space required for aircraft to taxi past each other. Down on the south end, I call them medians in between the old taxiway and the ramp. Those could be filled in to make additional parking space, but other than that, that's all we can do. There's just no more space in the ramp.
We in the east side project, I mean, I know it's not what you want to hear, but in, the February, March timeframe, we've got a significant number of new tie downs built into that project, and that's part of the budget, if you will. But I mean,
but for the west side,
there's
what we have now, there's really nothing we can do as far as expanding space other than south ramp.
Is there a way that you could stagger park those things, kind of instead of wing to wing, like you do up on the ramp? I mean, is there a way where you could stack in there, get a little more density by?
The problem you run into with where they're tied on the south end right now, they're wing to wing, but if you staggered them, then you'd have aircraft trying to move, you'd have to get them around each other to get out of the ramp.
Yeah,
With ballpark, we looked at that too.
okay.
Other than moving them closer to the center, but then you'd have a plan essentially aircraft taxi by.
One other thing that I failed to list, we had a directional sign that was knocked down about 4 months ago by a pilot, and we've filed an insurance claim, got the insurance claim, and have ordered the directional sign, and it will be, it's plug and play, so we'll have it probably in 2 to 3 weeks back up and running. So, but we'll monitor that too. Chip, can you think of anything else that needs to go on this list that being out there?
No, I mean, at one point, I think Bill had mentioned the old taxiway, closing that and using that for tie downs. I don't know.
We did that too.
Okay, I didn't know if there's really enough room to have tie downs and be able to taxi
Lighter
through
aircraft,
there.
you can do that, move them off the grass, up tie down some grass, but for larger aircraft. Other than we can line them up north to south. And we've been doing that when we get a large number of aircraft, 6 or 7 jets at a time, we have to line them up in the old taxiway.
Y'all are just out of room.
So, yes.
Yep.
That's why we're spending.
What did, when you just mentioned filling in the grass areas between the ramp and the taxiway, what was the conclusion from that discussion with Volkert? I mean, is that a viable option, or?
We just have to look at the money
Okay.
that's available, and, if we could, because they're working on the east side right now, if that was going to be something in the future we could do.
You could do that.
Seemed like it'd be something as we plan out further into the future. Especially with that ramp needing attention from a main, structure.
The ramp needs attention. I mean, what we're doing is just basically a stopgap. I mean, but it just needs, we can't do that for another 15 to 18 months.
That's true.
So,
Just as we develop that forward-looking plan with Volkert, and, we kind of look at what those are going to be.
something else that came out of that meeting was really other than in front of, I don't put this on, other than in front of the public safety hangar, there's really no place on the west side to put another T hangar. Is that true, Joe? Other than in front of the public safety hangar, there's no place right now that Volker would recommend putting another T hangar. I mean, we've batted that around lots, and we've looked at it lots of different ways. There's just no space. Okay? Ray, do you have anything that we need to keep on this list?
It seems like I noticed maybe a couple of taxiway lights that it seemed like one was knocked over this past week. I noticed that I might need to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the real lights and all the PAPI lights are working, probably the first time in a long time, but everything, but we do, taxiway lights are out. Okay, I mean, we do lose those occasionally. Okay. All right, moving on, number 8. Pam, you want to talk about?
Yeah. I'd like everyone to meet our new summer intern. Bryce, would you stand up, please? This is Bryce Biesenthal. And as you know, we advertised for a summer intern to work June through September. And Bryce was one of our applicants, and he interviewed very well. We hired him last week, so he's here attending with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Biesenthal. So we'd like to welcome him to the authority. I sent you around his resume, and also said that any of the projects that you're working on for the airport that he can help out with, please just coordinate with Joe and I. Joe's already got him started on archiving some of the records. And as I mentioned in my email, he does have experience in doing some aerial photography for the Civil Air Patrol out of Delaware. And we do need some new aerial photography of the airport. So please join with me in welcoming him. He'll be attending all of our meetings, and we need to keep him busy. So welcome.
Bryce, you want to say anything?
Just relax, we don't bite.
But we're excited about having, if you've ever been in our file room, you can see that we have a real need to organize. We've done everything electronically in the past, but we've gotten overcome by paper. You can imagine the amount of paper we generate, but we need to put that in order and get some things filed electronically and just kind of keep everything going close.
And he's very good with technology,
Yep,
Perfect.
yes.
okay. Treasurer's report?
Okay. You guys received the monthly balance sheet and your packet, and we'll kind of go through there's been no extraordinary items in the top level, but as we move down to kind of the grounds maintenance, which is that $2,300 figure down there, that's the breakout that's attached. Jody does a screenshot, and you guys got that as well. But Hunter Security, self-explanatory. Terminex, self-explanatory. The Allen Enterprises and the DBT Transportation. Joe, can you?
DBT is the person that services our AWAS, and we have a contract with and I think that's the quarterly payment, the $278. Allen Enterprises is who I use as an electrician to repair things that we are above normal replacing of bulbs. And they're out of Pensacola. They do an okay job. They're not very responsive, but every time they come out, we try to consult. We try to do several things when they come out because they are pretty pricey when they came in. I think this was replacing. Not only did we have some real lights out, we had some of the electrical equipment leading to the real lights were actually had blown. For whatever reason, we may be in the twilight zone or whatever. But we get lots and lots of electrical problems out there, and we have to. We have to constantly monitor to keep things on. And again, I would appreciate any of you that when you fly in and out of, if you see a PAPI or a real light not working, please make a note and we'll get on it, because those are something that certainly increase our liability. But that's who Allen Enterprises is.
And that gives the overview. There are only 4 line items that comprise that. Anybody have any comments? Joe, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of consolidating our banking relationships, moving them from PNC to Bryant. That's why you'll see 4 checking accounts. Having been on the other side and encourage people to move accounts before, it's really a big deal to move a checking account. And so we're almost through. We hadn't written any more checks on PNC since the 1st of May. We've almost gone through that. Then we've closed one account. We're in the process. So by next month, we'll have one account with PNC that we pay construction, that we pay just the construction, FAA construction grants out of, and then we'll have everything else will be at Bryant Bank. But we have about $500,000 in working cash as we speak. Okay. Okay. Any other business, Will? No. Okay. Okay. Any public comments?
Hey guys, Jay Miller, I think y'all remember me from the last meeting. We would like to thank you for putting a letter together for us on that. It's not my forte to edit letters, but we appreciate you sending a copy to us. It looked good. I do appreciate the fact that you stated that Baldwin County or Fairhope, I don't know how it was worded, but that our growth is exponential now and that we're bigger than we used to be, so there's a lot more concern, there's a lot more people to be frustrated by noise. So again, thank you. And I think my wife's under the weather right now, but she maybe sent you an email. I think she sent you an email. I don't know if you got it yet, but I think she
I haven't seen it yet.
put her thoughts on it.
Okay.
So thanks again. We really appreciate everything. And hopefully something might change. Who knows?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, go ahead.
This Steve Walker, it's the first meeting I've attended. I've had a plane at the airport probably for, I don't know, 10 years or so. But I sent you an email earlier this morning. I was just trying to get a better understanding of the process of, I guess, the site plan for the east side. And, you know, I would like to build a hangar up there, like about a 6,000 square foot hangar.
We'll sign you up.
I just didn't know. I didn't know what I needed to do, what I
I mean, you can come and see us, and we'll show you the site plans that
I've
Gulf
seen it online. I saw the one
Okay.
online. I guess it's similar to that,
Yeah.
maybe? Okay.
Well, if you sent me an email this morning?
Yeah, it's late morning. Well, I sent it to the, whatever address was on the website.
Okay, I hadn't gotten it yet, but
Yeah.
I'll give you my, we'll, kind of where we are is that, we'll let the contract for the east side, the finished construction, or I guess, phase 4 in probably, early July, probably early August, really.
Okay.
And then it will be a relatively short construction project, probably 4 to 5 months, or just bring it through, probably 2 to 3 months. And by, early October, November, I mean, we're looking for tenants on the east side.
Okay.
And we would.
And what, is there like a land, is there already been specified there's going to be some sort of a land lease?
Yeah, I'll share all that. And I'll go out with an RFP, basically saying this is what we've got. We'll probably have 4 to 5 spots,
Right.
and they're ground leases.
Right.
20, I think they're 30-year leases. After 30 years, so it reverts back to us. But we would, we appreciate the opportunity. We
Yeah.
look forward to
What
it.
I emailed you was just preliminary drawings.
I'll give you a
From
card.
Kinko. So
Okay.
that-
Yeah. Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great. All right, any other comments? All right, having seen none, we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:04.